Welcome to our deep dive. This time, we're looking at portfolios. We found this amazing YouTube video by AJO DHRUVA,
Huh.
a photographer from Kerala, India.
Yeah.
And he gets into what makes a great portfolio,
Okay.
especially for people trying to get into acting and modeling.
It's such a niche topic,
Right.
but it's so interesting. You can learn so much about presenting yourself well and how to reach your goals.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even matter what you do.
That's so true.
So we'll break down his main points. We'll
Yeah.
look at the differences between portfolios for acting versus modeling.
Okay.
And then we'll give you some tips to help make yours amazing.
Awesome. So one of the things that stood out to me was how much AJO DHRUVA talked about knowing your goals.
Oh, yeah.
He even gives this example of someone who says they want to get into acting or modeling, whichever one comes first.
Wow.
And he's like, no, that's not how it works. You got to know what you want.
Yeah, he's totally right. It's like a portfolio isn't something that fits everybody. It's more like a marketing tool that's really specific.
Okay.
You know, it shows off what you're good at, but it's targeted to a specific audience.
Like a good ad campaign.
Exactly. So if you want to be an actor, your portfolio needs to show that you can do a lot of different things.
Okay.
It needs to show all the different types of characters you can be and how you can express different emotions, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you're looking through a portfolio and you see all these pictures of the person in different costumes and with different looks.
Oh, yeah.
And it shows you how much range they have.
And you can see what they can do.
That's what a casting director wants to see.
He had some great examples to show this in the video.
Yeah.
He talked about having one picture where you're dressed like a police officer, and then another one where you're wearing traditional clothes from Kerala.
Whoa.
Talk about a transformation.
Right.
It shows you can really become someone else for a role.
Yep.
And for modeling, he said it's more about showing that you can confidently wear different styles.
Like you're selling those clothes, the whole look.
You become the brand.
Yeah, you're like a chameleon.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
He talks about how important it is to have a physical, printed portfolio.
Like a hard copy.
Yeah, especially for modeling.
That's interesting.
You'd think that everything's online these days.
Right.
You know, your Instagram is like your portfolio.
Yeah.
But he really thinks it's powerful to have something you can actually hold and give to agencies or directors.
Makes sense.
It shows you're serious.
You've invested in it.
You've put in the work.
Yeah.
Like you walk in with this gorgeous book filled with your best pictures.
It's like a piece of art.
Yeah. And he's specific about what should be in there, too.
Like what?
Your height, weight, eye color, skin tone, hair color, you know.
Oh, the base.
All the important stuff they need to know right away,
It's like a resume for acting or modeling.
but way more visual.
I love that. And it's so smart because those details show that you really understand what the industry needs.
It shows you're professional and prepared.
Totally.
He even talked about different categories of modeling, like runway,
Oh, right.
where you need specific types of pictures in your portfolio.
So even within modeling, there's no one size fits all.
It's all about tailoring it to what you want to do.
That's fascinating.
It really is. And he's really adamant that putting together a good portfolio takes effort.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about taking some quick pictures in different outfits.
Right.
It's a whole process.
Yeah, it's an investment.
You're showcasing the best version of yourself
Absolutely.
so you can reach your goal.
Exactly. You have to plan it, get professional photos taken.
And really think about how you want to present yourself.
Totally.
It sounds like treating your portfolio as a serious project is key, whether you're going into acting or modeling.
That's the big takeaway here.
For sure.
It's an investment in your future, just like any other investment.
That's a great way to put it.
And you need to do your research to know what'll give you the best return.
This makes me think.
Yeah.
He talks about hard copies being so important,
Especially for modeling.
but how important are online portfolios these days?
Oh, that's a great question.
I mean, everyone has a website or social media, right?
It's true.
It shows how things are always changing.
Exactly.
So while he really stresses the hard copy, I feel like having a strong online presence is important too.
It's crucial in today's world.
You want to be where they're looking?
Where who's looking?
The casting directors and agencies.
Oh, right, of course.
So maybe it's kind of like a 1-2 punch.
What do you mean?
You have the impressive physical portfolio for when you meet people in person.
Yeah.
And then you can tell them to check out your website or social media to see even more.
It's like showing them you're not just professional, but you can adapt and you know how to use technology.
Exactly.
But remember, the same things matter online as offline.
What do you mean?
You need good quality pictures, it should be easy to navigate, and the information should be relevant.
Makes sense.
You want to make it easy for them to see your best work and understand what you bring to the table.
So it's about having a consistent brand, both offline and online.
Yeah.
And making sure it matches your goals, whether that's acting or modeling.
Exactly. Like Dhruva says, your portfolio is your calling card.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it.
It's the first impression you make, and it needs to be a strong one.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Now, he focuses on acting and modeling portfolios in this video.
Yeah.
But do you think these principles could apply to other careers too?
I think so.
Like what?
I mean, he's talking about portfolios for actors and models.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of showing off your best work,
Yeah.
that applies to everyone, right?
You're right. And that's what makes Dhruva's advice so valuable.
Yeah.
He's talking to a specific group of people.
Right. But the underlying ideas are universal.
So true.
Think about it. Whether you're a writer,
Uh-huh.
a graphic designer, a software developer,
Yeah.
even a chef.
You're selling your skills and experience.
Exactly.
So you're saying a portfolio is basically just a way to show off your professional self.
Yeah, it's a tailored presentation.
No matter what you do.
It's about choosing your experiences, your skills, your achievements,
Okay.
and putting them together in a way that shows your value.
To potential clients or employers.
Exactly. It was like telling your professional story, but in a really cool and visual way.
I love that. It's not just a resume. It's a whole narrative.
Right.
And that can resonate with anyone, no matter what they do.
Absolutely. And that's why I think we should all consider what Dhruva says,
Mm-hmm.
even if our jobs aren't super visual.
I see what you mean.
Like he talks about strong visuals being really important for actors and models.
Yeah.
But even if your work isn't visual, you can still use a portfolio to tell a captivating story.
So instead of just listing projects and skills on a resume,
Mm-hmm.
we should think about the story of our careers, the challenges we've faced, the things we've accomplished, the impact we've had.
Because people connect with stories.
Right.
They want to know what motivates you, what you're passionate about, what drives you.
Yeah.
And if you can weave that into your portfolio
Huh.
through case studies, testimonials, or even just the way you describe your work,
Okay.
it can make a huge difference.
This is making me think about how we try to separate our work life from our personal life.
Yeah,
But really, our experiences shape who we are professionally.
it's so true.
So maybe it's okay to let our personalities show a bit in our portfolios
And-
to make them feel more authentic and relatable.
I couldn't agree more. Being genuine is key.
Yeah.
People can tell when you're faking it.
So don't be afraid to let your real voice come through.
It's what makes you stand out.
Okay, so we've talked about clear goals, strategic thinking, and storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we learn from Dhruva about making a portfolio amazing?
Well, remember how we talked about that physical hard copy?
Especially for models.
Yeah, the way you present your work really matters.
Makes sense.
Whether it's a website, a PDF, or even that physical portfolio, presentation is key.
You're talking about the design, right?
Yes.
Keeping it clean and professional, easy to understand.
Exactly. Think of it like framing a beautiful painting.
Okay.
The right frame makes the art look even better,
Uh-huh.
but a bad frame can distract from it.
Oh, I see.
So your portfolio is a frame and your work is the art.
I love that analogy. So we got to pay attention to fonts, colors, layout, the overall vibe,
Right. And don't be afraid to be creative.
but keep it professional.
Exactly. Your portfolio should reflect your style and personality.
Okay, all this advice is great, but I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed.
Forget.
Where do we even begin with all this?
Don't worry. It's a process. You don't have to do it all at once.
That's good to hear.
You don't have to climb the whole mountain in a day.
Yeah.
Start by gathering your materials,
Like what?
your best work samples, testimonials, any important information. Then think back to what we talked about.
Our goals and target audience.
Exactly. What story are you trying to tell?
Okay, that feels more manageable.
Right.
Break it down into steps.
That's the way to do it.
What about resources? Are there any tools out there to help us make a professional-looking portfolio?
Absolutely. There are tons.
Even if we're not design experts?
Yeah, there are website builders like Squarespace and Wix.
I've heard of those.
And portfolio platforms like Behance and Dribbble. Those are for creative types.
Okay.
And don't forget about LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah.
It's great for showing off your work and building your network.
Awesome. We'll put some links in the show notes for everyone.
Perfect.
So we've covered having clear goals, being strategic, storytelling, and making sure our presentation is great.
Mm-hmm.
Any other nuggets of wisdom before we wrap this up?
Yes. Actually, one last thought, and this is something Dhruva really stressed.
What's that?
Don't be afraid to ask for feedback.
Oh, yeah.
Show your portfolio to colleagues, mentors, maybe even potential clients.
People you trust.
Yeah. It's like getting a second pair of eyes on your work.
Sometimes we're just too close to our own stuff.
Exactly.
You can't see it clearly.
Fresh eyes can help you see areas to improve, or they might point out strengths you didn't even know you had.
Feedback is a gift.
It is. Even when it's hard to hear.
It helps us grow.
Absolutely. It makes us better.
Okay, so we've gotten so much advice on building a great portfolio.
Yeah.
But before we move on,
I
want to go back to something you said before.
What's that?
About portfolios not just being for creative people.
Right.
This is where Dhruva's ideas can really make us think differently about how we present ourselves professionally.
I agree.
No matter what we do.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Think about it. In today's world, don't we all have to manage a personal brand?
Whoa, I never thought of it that way.
Right.
So even if we don't have a traditional portfolio, we're still building an image of ourselves online.
Through our social media, everything.
It's like we're all building a portfolio without realizing it.
It's true. Everything we post, how we interact online, it all creates an impression.
This is blowing my mind.
It's a lot to think about.
So how can we use Dhruva's advice for something as big as our online presence?
That's a good question. It really does make you think, doesn't it?
It does. It's like AJO DHRUVA is saying we need to be really thoughtful and strategic.
Exactly. And it all goes back to that idea of being intentional. Just like with a regular portfolio, we need to think about the story we're telling with our online presence.
Okay.
What do we want people to see when they look us up?
Yeah, what kind of impression do we want to make?
Right?
I'm starting to see it now.
Yeah.
It's like our whole online presence is our personal brand portfolio.
Whether we planned it that way or not.
Exactly.
And just like Dhruva tells those actors and models to be careful about the pictures and information they put in their portfolios, we should be just as careful about what we share online.
What do you mean?
Our social media, our profiles, the things we post, the way we talk to people online.
Yeah.
It all paints a picture of who we are.
So it's not just about getting likes or posting pretty pictures.
No. There's a whole strategy behind it.
Okay, so we got to be authentic.
Yes, definitely.
But we also need to make sure our online presence matches our goals and values.
Exactly. Think about the image you want to project.
Yeah.
The kind of opportunities you want to come your way.
That makes sense.
Right. So for someone who's not, say, a designer or a photographer.
Yeah, someone who doesn't really think about personal branding.
Where do they even start with all of this?
That's a good question.
Well, I think a great place to begin is just taking a look at what you're already doing online.
Right?
Check out your social media profiles, your website if you have one.
Yeah.
And just ask yourself, what story am I telling right now?
Oh, I like that.
Does it match the story I want to be telling?
It's like a self-audit for your online presence.
Exactly. And once you have a good idea of where you're at, then you can start making choices about what you share, how you interact with people.
Okay.
And how you present yourself online.
So it's about being mindful of what we're putting out there.
Yes. It's almost like we're all our own PR agents now.
I never thought about it that way.
It's true. We all have the power to shape how people see us online.
And to build a personal brand that shows off our best selves.
Absolutely. That's the cool thing about what Dhruva's saying.
What do you mean?
Even though he's talking to a specific group.
Actors and models.
Yeah. The ideas behind it apply to everyone.
This deep dive has really made me rethink how I see myself online.
That's great.
I'm going to look at everything differently now.
I think we all will after this.
It's an ongoing process, right?
Oh, for sure.
We change and grow.
And so should our personal brands.
Yeah.
We have the power to shape the story and show off the best parts of ourselves online.
So much to think about.
I know. It's amazing.
Well, I think we've just about reached the bottom of this deep dive.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners? We've really gone deep on this whole portfolio thing.
We have.
From specific stuff for actors and models to how it applies to any career.
Yeah.
But now you're saying it goes even beyond that.
It really does.
Like, it's about all of us.
Exactly. And it comes back to that idea of being intentional.
Okay.
Like Dhruva kept saying.
Being strategic.
Yes. Just like with a professional portfolio. We need to think about what we're saying with our online presence.
What story are we telling?
Exactly. What do we want people to see?
What impression do we want to make?
Right. It's like our online presence is our personal brand portfolio.
Whether we meant it to be or not.
Right.
Yeah. I'm getting it now.
Good. And remember how Dhruva said actors and models need to choose their photos and info carefully?
Yeah.
We should be just as careful about what we share online.
Our social media profiles, the stuff we post,
Exactly. The way we talk to people online.
it all adds up.
It does. It all paints a picture of who we are.
So it's not just about posting pretty pictures or trying to be popular.
No, it's way more than
It's
that.
about strategy.
Absolutely. You got to be authentic, of course.
Yeah.
But also make sure your online presence matches your goals.
And your values.
Right. What image do you want to project?
What kind of opportunities are you hoping for?
That's what you should be thinking about.
So for someone who's not in a creative field, you know, someone who hasn't really thought about personal branding before,
Where do they start?
it feels overwhelming.
I know, but a good first step is just to look at what you're already doing online.
Okay.
Take a look at your social media, your website if you have one,
Okay.
and ask yourself, what story am I telling with all of this?
I like that.
And then, is that the story I want to be telling?
It's like taking inventory of your online self.
Exactly. Once you know where you stand,
Then what?
then you can start making deliberate choices.
About what we share, how we interact online.
How we present ourselves.
We're all in control of our own stories.
We are. It's like we're all our own PR people now.
That's wild. I never thought of it that way.
It's true. We all have the power to shape how people see us online.
And to build a brand that shows off our best selves.
That's the amazing thing about Dhruva's advice.
What do you mean?
He's talking to actors and models, but it applies to everyone.
It's all about being intentional and shaping our own narratives.
Exactly.
This has seriously changed how I think about myself online.
Me too.
I'm going to be looking at everything with new eyes now.
Then remember, it's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. We change and grow.
Our online presence should too.
We have the power to keep shaping our stories and showing the world our best selves.
I love that. This deep dive has been amazing.
So much good stuff to think about.
It really has. So as we wrap things up,
Yeah.
any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
Whether you're building a traditional portfolio or just shaping your online presence,
Yeah.
remember to be authentic.
Be yourself.
Be intentional.
Have a plan.
And be bold. Don't be afraid to let your personality shine.
I love that. So on that note, we'll leave you to think about this whole idea of a personal portfolio.
That's always evolving.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.